All right, happy Friday, everybody. Coach Kilburn here with the second part of our tutorial on using Adobe Creative Cloud InDesign and kind of practicing on a sample newsletter. So hopefully you are caught up to this point. So we'll just go on and keep building and keep stacking, okay? So guys, again, I was using a sample newsletter that I just found online. Of course, I will not be able to find the same exact images that they're using. So I just used some good keywords to find the images that I needed. Okay, so you're going to find your own images. So we got a football field, we got a student with a book, and then we got some students outside throwing up their graduation caps. All right. All right, so just do your best to try to pick an image that fits those categories, right? All right, guys. So one thing I want you to notice yesterday when we were building our banner up here, we were working on getting the image to fit the box properly and our text. I still can't see that text as much as I like. So here's a couple things we're going to do. We're going to click on this image, right? And we're going to go over here to our properties panel, and we're going to go down and find our opacity. If you remember from Photoshop, opacity deals with transparency, so we can make images sort of see-through, right? So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click here and I'm going to use this slider and I'm just going to bump it down a little bit, right? You can see the image now is kind of becoming what we call a ghost image, right? I can go all the way down if I want, but that's a little too far. I want my viewers to at least have a reference and at least kind of see that, hey, it's some students outside, they're throwing up some graduation caps. But if you notice, my white text shows up a little bit better now than when that image was 100%. So if you want, you can just bump your opacity down a little bit so you can see the image a little better, right? I'll go about 70, 71%. Then maybe I come in here to my text, right? Right, so come in here to my text. Now my text frame is selected, right? Maybe what I want to do is maybe add a little drop shadow or a stroke. I'm a fan of drop shadow, so I'm going to go up to Object, Effects. There are some Photoshop effects here in InDesign. You should recognize all of these effects, right? Most of them. These are kind of new to you. I'm just going to add a little drop shadow. Now the drop shadow settings here in InDesign look a little different from Photoshop, but not too much. Guys, I suggest you have your preview window checked. If not, you really can't see a preview out here what's going on before you hit OK and apply that effect. So I like to have my preview window on. So now I can see that drop shadow. That drop shadow just kind of helps to lift that text up off the page just a little bit. Okay, apply that drop shadow now. Boom. All right. So Bloomingdale doesn't show up great. Guys, I can always come back to that later and maybe change the font, maybe change the color. So we'll work on that later. Okay. Just going to click out, right? So now let's come down here to these key dates. There were some key dates down here. All you got to do is get your type tool, come down here and create you a text frame, right? And then type your text. So guys, really, since we're practicing, we're just going to fill this with what we call placeholder text, right? So how do you do placeholder text? You go up to the menu of type. Makes sense to get placeholder text from the type menu. Go down to the bottom and fill with placeholder text, right? So guys, now we got some text in there. You know, it doesn't look exactly like the example we have over here. Obviously, they have the dates and the event name, and they make those bold, right? But you can see they have the same kind of placeholder text we do. They just kind of format it a little bit more, right? But this lorem ipsum stuff, that's placeholder text. Placeholder text is just designed so that you can kind of see what your text will look like on your design. You can kind of choose your font and your formatting like bold and italic and all that kind of stuff. You can work all that with your placeholder text just for the look. Then you can always come back and fill in the real text, okay? So now we got some placeholder text in there. Let's bounce back over here to our example, right? Here they got like, it's the spring issue number 1 and a date. So let's add that in. Guys, we'll just come over here with a text frame. All right, and again, I'm going to create a text frame right here. I can come over 2 columns if I want. You can go 1 column or 2 columns. It's up to you. I'm just going to put in spring issue, right? We'll go volume 1, right? And then we'll do the year, 2021, right? Maybe we want to format that a little bit, right? So I can come over here. Maybe I make the font a little bigger so we can see it. Maybe I want to make it bold so it shows up a little bit more, right? Maybe bump the size up just a little bit more. No, we'll go back down, right? So guys, you format your text how you want it to look, right? Now it's in a text box. Looks like I don't need that big of a text box, so I can shorten down my text box, right? I can always use the directional keys on the keyboard to kind of nudge that text box around. Guys, remember, design like space. So always leave a little bit of space, right? So check this out, guys. Now we can use our guides. Make sure your rulers are on. If you don't see your rulers, you can go up to View, and it'll say Show Rulers, right? So I'll hide mine real quick. If you don't see your horizontal ruler here and your vertical ruler here, go up to View. Why View? Because you want to view them. You want to see them. Go to Show Rulers, right? So remember, guys, I can left click in the ruler and drag down a guide, right? So maybe I want to put a guide right here, right? Why? So that when I add in these boxes, right, I put them all along the same line. That way this one's not up a little bit and this one's not down a little bit. I need some kind of guide or reference point to make sure these 3 boxes or buckets are straight, right? So that's what we use guides for. So let's build one of these now. Let's build this one, right? So you can do it a couple of ways. I'm going to do a large rectangle with a fill and no stroke. And then I'll come back and add in this dark rectangle on top and group it. And then I'll add in my text and group it. And then I can insert a picture and group it. And then I can enter some placeholder text and group it, right? So let's make this big, large rectangle first. It goes from our guide all the way down to the bottom, right? So again, guys, I'm just going to get my rectangle tool, right? I'm going to start at the guide. I'm going to click and drag a box. I'm going to go all the way to the bottom margin. I'm also going to stop at that gutter. So there's a little bit of space between these 2 elements, right? Here's your fill color. You just double click on it, right? We'll just find like a nice little color to use in there, right? Pinkish, mauve-ish color. Okay. So guys, look, I have a fill color. Here's my fill color. The fill's the inside. And right now I have no stroke. So there is no outline around the edge. That's okay, right? Click out with my selection tool to deactivate. Let's go back over here for a reference. I'm going to add in this top part and make it a little darker, right? So I'll go back to my rectangle tool. Make sure I'm lined up correctly with my crosshairs. All right. Make me a little rectangle. All right. If it's not right, you can use your selection tool to kind of nudge it out. All right. Guys, I also suggest to do this. Get your magnifying glass, get your zoom tool. Zoom in on the area you're working, right? That's much easier to work with now that it's larger and I can see things better, right? So just kind of want to get that straight, right? And we'll just fill this with a darker color. So, right, maybe we take our eyedropper, boom, sample this color, boom, right? But then I'm gonna come over here to the fill and I'm gonna make it a little darker, right? So I'm gonna come in here. Let's see what I want to do. Let's tint it a little bit. Nope, come on. We'll go here. There we go. So guys, in CMYK mode, CMYK is for printing. Cyan is sort of blue. Magenta is kind of like this color, but more of a reddish. Yellow is yellow, and K is black. So if I want to make this one a little bit darker, it's the same color, but I want this a little darker, I'm just going to take the K slider. I'm going to add more black, right? You see, as I add more percentages of black, it darkens this color, right? That's what I want. These colors should match because really they're the same color. I just added a little bit of black to this one, okay? CMYK color mode. All right, guys, now I can hold Shift, select my other one, right? Go back to my selection tool. Make sure you're on your selection tool, right? Boom. Now that they're both selected, I can go up to Object and Group. Now they're grouped together. So if I move one, they both move together. I can always go back and ungroup, okay? So they have some text in up here. What's that text say? Topic 1. So, right, we'll just follow that. Come back over here to the Type tool. Click and drag a text frame. Right, you can always adjust that text frame. I'm going to pull my Properties panel over here so I can see it. I want to go center alignment. So, guys, down here's all your alignments. I want to go center. Right, and I forgot what it said. Maybe it says phase 1, right? Phase, oh, it said topic 1. Right, so we'll go topic 1. We'll use the number 1, right? So, guys, look, you can always get in here, select that text, come over here, make it bigger, right? You can always change the font if you want to change the font to something else, right? Guys, I wouldn't use too many fonts on my newsletter. I would stick to maybe 2, 3 fonts at the most, right? Just like when you put your clothes on, you want your shoes and your pants and your shirt and all your stuff to kind of match a little bit, right? Or you're what we call loud. You're a loud dresser. So we want our fonts to kind of match. Don't use too many fonts, right? Get that where I want it. Right now, guys, it's black. Let's see how that looks. Black looks okay, right? I can resize my text frame. I can use my arrow keys on the keyboard to nudge it into place, right? I can hold Shift now and select these other boxes, and then I can group those together. Object, Group, right? Now when I move one, it all moves together. Guys, if you need to go back and make a change, not a big deal. You need to come up here to Object and Ungroup. Now they're ungrouped, and I can use this text frame independently from those other frames, right? So guys, think of like Legos. Think of Legos or Lincoln Logs. Basic elements, slightly different. I can stack and build and create more complex things with those Legos and those Lincoln Logs. So guys, that's what we're kind of doing here in InDesign. We're building, right? So then I think they had an image down here, right? So maybe I want my image to line up with the top of this key dates box again. So I'm just dragging a guide down. Guys, guides help us line up things, top and bottom and left and right. So now, guys, again, for an image, I have to get a content frame. I have to get the rectangular frame tool. Leave a little bit of space around the edges. Why? Because design likes space. So guys, I'm going to click and drag a text frame. Again, guys, I can change this text frame at any time. I'm going to go File, Place. I'm going to place that image in that content frame. That was the football field. So guys, when I found my image online and I saved it, I gave it good keyword names. I know what this file is before I even open it because I named it with some good keywords. So we're going to dump our football field in there. Guys, remember, you can get the direct selection tool, which is the white arrow, right? Or you get the selection tool, which is the black arrow. These two circles, notice I have more content out here of the football field. Here's my frame all the way out here. So if I click in those circles, I can move the content around in the frame to get it to show the part of the picture that I want, okay? I also have fitting options, so don't forget your fitting options. Object, fitting, and you choose which one is working best for your image in your frame, right? I like that, right? Boom. and then they had some placeholder text. So if you want to zoom out, go back to your zoom tool. It's a plus. If you click, it's going to zoom in. So I'm going to hold Alt, so it's the minus, and it zooms out. I'm not holding Alt. It's the plus. It'll zoom in. I hold Alt. It gives me the alternate tool for that tool, and then I can click and zoom out. Right? So now, guys, for my text frame, maybe I want to drag a guide over here to the edge of this photo. Click and drag another guide over here to add to this photo. Why? So my text frame will line up on the right and the left with this photo. Again, the human eye and brain likes alignment. We like things to be aligned top and bottom, left and right. So I'm just going to get my text frame. All right, I'm going to click and drag my text frame. Again, I can change the size of this text frame at any time. All I want to do now is fill it with placeholder text. So I'm going to go up to type, go down and fill with placeholder text. Okay, boom. Now I got some text. Kind of gives the look of text. It's not real text. It's what we refer to as Greek text or lorem ipsum, right? Boom. So guys, now that I got this area done, I can group all this together, right? I got these two boxes I grouped together along with the text box, right? I got this text frame. I got this image, right? I can select all of them. I just held shift and I went around and selected everything, right? Or you can click and drag and draw a box around everything. If you click and drag and draw a box, it's going to select everything for you. Why are we selecting? Because now we want to group. The object and group. Now, if I need to move this to the right column, right? Maybe I want to make a change in the way my newsletter looks. Let me zoom out. All right, you got your hand tool. The hand tool will pan around, so get used to using your hand tool. Let's say I want to move this to this right column, and then I need to move these key dates over here. Well, since these are grouped, I can do that, right? So let's make sure this key dates box is grouped. Right? Nope, it's not. So there's the text frame for key dates. I'm going to hold shift. There's my text frame for my placeholder text, and then I got to get the boxes back here, right? So you can hold shift and click around, or click, hold your left click, and just draw a box over all the elements, and InDesign will select them for you. So now I can go up to Object, Group, right? Now guys, look, let me zoom out and show you some stuff. You have a lot of space to work with. See this kind of big rectangle, right? You don't have to keep everything on your document. So watch this. I can take my selection tool, just gonna move this out here for right now, right? So I wanna move this over here, right? Boom. Now I can move this back onto my document, right? And now I can zoom back in if I need to make sure everything's lined up, right? So hold Alt, zoom out one time, my selection tool, right? I need to make sure these are in my gutters, or out of my gutters, right? So see, it's kind of in the gutter a little bit. That's not a good place. So I'm using the arrow keys on my keyboard to kind of nudge over, right? It's lined up on this alignment here. Awesome. Come over here, maybe nudge that a little bit, right? That looks good. All right, I'm using my margins and my guides. Again, it's okay if we cross a gutter as long as we don't stop in the gutter, right? Guys, look, I'm going to go up to View again and Fit Page and Window. Guys, you can kind of see that's how we do it, right? Now, there are a couple of other boxes over here, and I do want to make a third video to complete this and just to do what I call some icings on the cake, some last-minute touches. So we're getting close, right? But the video's getting long again. Approaching 20 minutes. I want to stop it short. So guys, look, before I do that, remember, if you want to check your artwork without seeing all these margins and guides and lines and all that, go up to View, Screen Mode, and go to Presentation, shortcut Shift plus W, Shift W. Now you can kind of see your newsletter and you don't have to worry about the margins, right? And all those guides and all that stuff, right? I like that. It's looking good. It's coming together. I can hit escape, go back to my interface, right? So we'll stop the video here, guys. Try to catch up to this point. I'll make you a third video. We'll finish up this practice session with InDesign, and then I'll assign you a real project where you're going to make your own newsletter on whatever topic you like. So start thinking about that. Do you want to do food, fashion, sports, whatever you want to do, but you're going to need to take some pictures, maybe come up with some topics, right? And we'll go from there. All right. See ya.